Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now about to start with the second part of the session, developing smart cities from strategy to implementation. We have our distinguished speakers on the dais. Dr. Rajendra Jagtap, CEO, Pune Smart Cities Development Corporation Limited. Ms. Aileen, Crowe Nandi, Deputy Senior Commercial Officer, U.S. Embassy. Mr. Daniel Rivera, Director, Metropolitan Planning Institute. Shri Suresh Kumar Beera, City Planner, Greater Vishakhapatnam Municipal Corporation. Shri Satya Prakash Patel, CEO, Aligarh Smart City Limited. I now hand over the session to Dr. Sunil Dubey. I invite Dr. Dubey to start with the session.
Thank you, Richard. Being, one of the most critical things in smart cities is the time, and we are also running against the time for this session. So I'm going to make a slight change in the format for this session, and the format is simple. We're going to focus what is the key contribution different cities can bring or different agencies can bring to make the smart cities dream or a vision or implementation better in India. In doing that, I would like to start the journey from something a little bit away. And I'm very fortunate to see that I'm sitting right in the middle of US and Mexico. It was not planned that way, Aileen, let me tell you. So I'm going to invite Daniel. Daniel is from a city in Mexico, Tijuana, and he is a city planner. Now, Tijuana is a very interesting city. They have a lot of cultural assets by way of history, by way of economy, by way of proximity to US. And planning the city to ensure all these elements of economy, social cohesion, and culture are intact, planning is one of the most important tools in the city. So Daniel, quickly take us, what are you doing as a city planner to ensure the city is intact and it keeps on working and achieving some most economic goals you have set up?
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our mayor, Juan Manuel Gastelum Buenrostro, we invite you to visit Tijuana, and we have, in the next slide, we have 5 points that are the content of the presentation. The first is the overview of Tijuana's municipality, its territory and city. Then the principles that could guide application of smart city concepts and techniques in the city of Tijuana. Then what is Tijuana already thinking and doing before deciding that it wants to be labeled a smart city? And what is Tijuana thinking and doing that can be labeled as initiatives seeking a smart city status progressively and disruptively? In the next two slides, we're going to show you where Tijuana is at the other side of the world. So we're going to make a short trip over there, a 20-hour trip. We're going to turn it into 60 seconds. And after, well, I think it didn't start. If you could hit play. Well, with the regional context, Tijuana is from the state of Baja California. It's the biggest city in the state. We only have 5 municipalities, 5 cities. But Tijuana, this is the regional context. We have the Pacific Ocean on the west side. At the north, we have the United States, the state of California. And to the only place we can grow is to the south and to the east. Next up this slide, it would be the urban surface in the metropolitan area of Tijuana. As you can see at the top left corner, that's the urban surface of Tijuana. And Tijuana is an attractor city. We're part of the metropolitan cities in the Mexican Republic, and we have in the metropolitan area 1,840,710 inhabitants. And just in the city, it's 41,570. The land use patterns and rent, this is, the next slide is from Sullivan, where you can see as a monocentric city, we have the most expensive land closest to the services we have in the city. And as you keep growing, we have the housing patterns. The closer they are to this monocentric space, this commercial and amenity part of the city, the higher the cost is. We also have an industrial city where a lot of industries from all over the world come to Tijuana and they develop different things, as in TVs, as in drones, a lot of things. And we get city, land use that's turning into housing closer to these land uses. If you hit it, just keep going, please. These are the three models intersected. Then next to it, you can see the land uses in the city, where if you keep going on it, you can see the yellow is the housing area, the purple is the industry, the red is the services and commerce in the city. Then we have other land uses. But what we were seeing in the past graphic would be the dotted red line that you can see that crosses the whole city. We have 92,000 hectares in the central population, and the urban tendency to grow is to expand in the city. Next. So we have problems like road congestion, like we don't have sidewalks, we have different traffic problems in the city. And the principles that could guide application of smart city concepts and techniques in the city of Tijuana would be, first, define with some certainty what do we understand for a smart city, and see if such model really matches the needs, vision, and expectations of our city. Look at international examples that have sustained high scores in smart city metrics. For instance, innovation city like Vienna, Toronto, Paris, New York, Barcelona. Think new ideas on how information could support daily life in the city, as well as new ways to conceiving architectural buildings and urban public space and zoning designed to be more efficient and resilient. After that, we are exploring and developing techniques to collect such information that will come big size and therefore will require good storage systems for big data architecture, and apply such ideas and techniques on urban governance and city modeling that progressively and disruptively from private, social, academic, and state initiatives. What is Tijuana already thinking and doing before deciding that it wants to be labeled as a smart city? We are already measuring, generating information indexes, understanding factors that promote and inhibit prosperity, changing planning policies and strategies, and starting new community development policies. Our vision is an equal, inclusive city, compact, integrated, and plural, diverse, and coherent, with integrated, connected, inclusive, compact, with a transit-oriented development from pedestrian, bicycles, public transport, private transport, and automobiles. We in the city already have a BRT, a bus rapid transit system. This is the road structure, and this is the model for densification that we are implementing right now, where we can see economic activities, land value, existing densities, land aptitude. When you can intensify the most at zone 1, and from there down until zone 4, where it's low density. This is a case study for the downtown Tijuana. And there are existing land uses, and what we are seeing here after the zoning and densification strategies is that the higher closeness to public transportation, it's a higher density. These are the land uses The next slide will be zoning and densification strategies that go with the BRT system. And after that, we're creating some landmarks, pocket parks, designing better sidewalks, street maintenance, sustainable building certifications, and those are some of the initiatives that we are doing. Additional to that, we have a public realm design guidelines where we can see the pocket parks where there are sidewalks, benches, and vegetation in the street. How will this change urban densities and urban development? This is the next slide would be how Tijuana looks right now, and the slide after that would be how will it change and what we are looking for with the public policies. What is Tijuana already thinking and doing that can be labeled as initiatives seeking a smart city status progressively and disruptively? Right now, progressively in urban planning, we are working on an integral plan for sustainable urban mobility. That's a preliminary result of diagnosis and mobility. That's sidewalks, travel mapping, merchandise, and transport mapping. And we're calling it progressively because this is what we're going to apply at a government level and then apply it to the whole city. After that, or at the same time, we are working the Urban Development Municipal Plan and the Center of Population Plan with land and mapping app. Disruptively, we have tactical urbanism and speculative projects that are bicycling culture and emerging from social initiatives that provide information to be taken into account for urban design decisions, and academic initiatives that are temporary infrastructure of commitment, systems of governance with the use of blockchain and artificial intelligence.
Might just stop. I might just request Daniel, because they have got a fantastic plan, and I would request, if you're interested, have a chat with Daniel and explain it to you. This is very thorough, but we got a very good sense of what kind of work is happening and how they're engaging with people, especially utilizing a lot of what we call the disruption into the city planning. That be fair to say?
Yes, sure.
Let me take you from one coastal city to another coastal city. City of Vishakhapatnam in India is setting up some very interesting projects, bringing a lot of beaches to life by utilizing the economic tool of tourism. And in that, the planning is playing a very important role. The GIS gives this ability to the master plan in Vishakhapatnam that how some of these notions of beaches and what you call the ABD, area-based development, can contribute to the smart Vishakhapatnam. I'm kindly requesting now Mr. Suresh Kumar to explain it to us, what is he doing as a city planner for Vishakhapatnam in getting the technology, GIS, by GIS or other interventions, into making smart Vishakhapatnam. And please do talk about the beaches, what are you going to do and how are you going to transform the beaches around Vishakhapatnam. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Suresh Kumar, working for Greater Vishakhapatnam Municipal Corporation as a city planner. And first of all, I would like to give some glimpses about my city. And it is having, Vishakhapatnam city having a population of 1.8 million presently, and spread in the 534 square kilometer area. And it's formally popular as City of Destiny. And being a city planner, I would like to throw some light on planning initiatives has been taken by GVMCR Vishakhapatnam Smart City, so that I can justify my today's topic. So we have a traditional master plan which are being implemented from last couple of decades, and now being a smart city, taking up this ACOM as a PMC, and we have been trying the smart city master plan as well as sector-specific strategic infrastructure plans we are preparing. And most of the speakers might be aware of about in the recent past, GVMC in Vishakhapatnam was hit by a major cyclone Hudhud. So I can say the complete city was destroyed or else devastated by that cyclone. So we have taken that crisis as an opportunity, and after emerging as smart city, we have taken AECOM as well as ECLI as on board, and preparing smart city plans to make the city more resilient and healthy metropolis. So in the part of that one, AECOM is doing spatial planning where we are revisiting the development of beach, which is having a 4-kilometer stretch. So because one of the potential areas, tourist influx is one of the potential area for Vishakhapatnam. So we are concentrating on that. We are revisiting all these existing beach development plans, inshore development plans, as well as because of this growing population as well as mobility. So we are having some problems with parking as well as traffic transportation issues. So we are also planning to address all those systems in the smart city plan. So ECLI is supporting the GVMC. So this is as a broad level, these are the initiatives taken by the GVMC apart from other infrastructure projects. Right, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you, Suresh. That's good to know how the beaches are now becoming an integral part of your planning. Before we go to our next speaker, I just want to say, because Daniel has to go to another session and a meeting, and I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for coming and at least sharing some of the planning works you're doing with us. Can we just give a quick applause to Daniel for at least coming and traveling? And he's high in demand, so he has to rush to another meeting. So thank you, Daniel. You can take it. Most cities in India have got a huge problem of sanitation, and that sanitation is at all levels, whether it's the drainage, it's the water supply, whether it's just the maintenance of the water, and city managers or planners has to be very conscious of that, because water can make or break your cities. I'm kindly asking the CEO for Aligarh Smart City Limited to share with us that how Aligarh is now addressing this issue in a smarter way. So the water is not only just as an essential item for your city, but you're using it as a very integral resource for the smart city project. So over to you, Mr. Satya Prakash. Tell us what are the key things you're doing in sanitation.
Thank you, Dr. Dubey. I am Satya Prakash Patel. I am Municipal Commissioner as well as the CEO of Aligarh Smart City Limited. Thank you for calling me. Aligarh is around 120 kilometers away from this Delhi and well connected with Calcutta Delhi trunk railway route and oldest station, and also dedicated freight corridor is moving on, and famous Yamuna Expressway. So it's a well connected city and famous for the AMU, Aligarh Muslim University, and famous for locks. As Dr. Dubey mentioned, we are declared as a best innovative city in sanitation, but still we are facing some problem due to its topography, the low-lying main city, the drainage is a major problem in the Aligarh. So here, if anybody have the smart solution in the field of drainage, and the second problem we are facing, we have no surface water supply and we are based only on the groundwater. So depletion of the groundwater is very sharply decreasing. So we are focusing on the recharging of groundwater and we need the smart solution in that field, rainwater harvesting and other things if you have. So the third one is sanitation, solid waste as well as the liquid waste. In solid waste we are producing just 450 million ton per day, and we have a to Z company, it's treating solid waste only at 250 million ton per day. So rest gap is still available, and we have identified a land out of the city, and if anybody have here the specialization to treat the solid waste, you are most welcome in the Aligarh city. And recently we are reusing the solid waste and we are making the concrete blocks with solid waste, and commercially we are looking its viability, but Aligarh municipality is using that blocks. And the second one is the liquid waste, we are making the compost. But there is a huge opportunity in that field. You people come and welcome in the city. And third one, next important and problem is congestion of the city. If you have moved that city in Aligarh, congestion is a main problem. It's an old city, especially our ABD area is very congested. So intelligent traffic management system is another field of opportunity for you people to come and invest in the Aligarh city. Road, in ABD area we are taking around 105 kilometer road, and we will make a smart road. So these problems which I mentioned you, we want some smart solution. We have selected our PMC. Here I come to meet some companies and you people and need your expertise, because Aligarh is well connected to the Gulf countries, especially dominance of the Muslim community in Aligarh and cultural connectivity to the Gulf country, and people are looking to the Aligarh. It's become a Alishan Ashiana. It's a city of Shero Shairi. Have you heard about the Shahriyar? कभी किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, किसी को ज़मीन और आसमान नहीं मिलता. He belongs to Aligarh. So we are inviting you for making a Aligarh for a mukammal Ashiya. And Aligarh, E for small, your IT, ICT use to make it smart. So thank you again for Dr. Dubey and this organizer and you people to come in Aligarh and address our problem which I told you, and certainly we will go ahead and make Aligarh like a Mukammal Ashiya. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Prakash. I like the honesty and clarity. They're simply saying we need help, and if you have something, please present it. It takes a lot of courage to say that, but we want to acknowledge that this is an excellent path to have the expertise from the world. So why don't we go to the expertise directly? Other cities in the world are doing really good work, and if some of this work can be shared in collaboration between two cities from two different geographical locations, maybe Aligarh, Ashiana can learn something from the cities in US. So Aileen is here with us, who is the Deputy Secretary Commercial Officer at the US Embassy in New Delhi, and she's going to share with us how some of the experiences and learning from the US cities can be beneficial to cities in India in fast tracking the project. And you have a live client city here, Aileen, sitting here in city of Aligarh. So tell us what can be done between these two countries and cities from US and India. Over to you, Aileen.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to also thank Exhibitions India group for inviting me to be here. It's a great pleasure to be here with such a distinguished panel of guests here. So the United States, of course, has tremendous technologies that are deployed in smart cities. And this ranges from smart meters to water solutions to transportation and everything you might need. And in our previous panel, one of the speakers said, according to Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General or previous Secretary General for the United Nations, if you want something done, ask a mayor. Well, I'm going to propose if you want something done, ask an urban planner or a city administrator. And I know you really have your hands full. You have a lot of competing priorities, a lot of disgruntled city inhabitants. You got pressure from the mayor. You might have pressure from the states. You have a lot of issues to address, and just some of the key areas that I've mentioned. And in the United States, we have a tool called the Global Cities Team Challenge, GCTC. It was run by the National Institute for Standards and Technology under the Department of Commerce, where I work. And it's basically a collaborative platform for cities and municipalities and groups from around the world to share best practices on anything from the Internet of Things to cyber presence and other issues. And so the idea is to form clusters. So you would have cities forming groups, and they would put forward a blueprint or a paper or share their experiences, what's working, perhaps what's not working, so that cities and municipalities from around the world can join this. So I'm very pleased to have somebody from Vizag, Vishakhapatnam, and Tijuana. Perhaps those cities can join. But this is an excellent tool to share best practices and to learn from what's been working around the world. Because all of us on our jobs, no matter what we do, we face competing priorities and more problems than we can handle. And oftentimes, by looking at what's worked in other places, you can use those lessons. I'd like to make a quick shout out to my colleagues in the audience, Bhavna, if you can just raise your hand, and Paul. So we'll be here afterwards to answer any questions you have. U.S. companies, of course, have leading technologies. We're very active in the smart city space across India, and we're looking to become even more engaged. So if any of you have questions about getting connected with U.S. companies or U.S. municipalities, we'd love to work with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aileen. Just to highlight the word you said, GCTC. So please, I think this tool can be very effective if you have some applied examples. And Aligarh can also join the GCTC and see if it's any beneficial. Let's go to a city which set some of the precedents for smart cities well before the smart city concept in fact came into the picture. And it is fair to say Pune in fact ran a number of projects well ahead of any of the 100 smart cities came into the picture. We have Dr. Rajendra Jagtap, who is the CEO of the Pune Smart Cities, and who is going to talk to us how the city is trying to integrate a lot of services. Often the cities work in silos, the water, the road, the environment, the planning, they're all working in silos. And one of the most complex area in any bureaucracy or management is bringing these silos together. So Dr. Jagtap, tell us how you are bringing all these silos together in Pune, because the evidence is the Pune city is demonstrating a very good result under the smart cities. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Dubey. When we start with Pune per se, let us be very frank that it's one of the top 10 cities among India, which is a non-capital city. When we talk about non-capital, it is the only city, it is not a capital of any state, but it has the momentum, the population, the growth rate, and the intuition to take this thing all forward. We are among the first cities to get through with the Smart Cities mission under a selection procedure and program which happened. But the city per se has a very rich history and a vibrant cultural entity to it. And along with that, gradually over a period of time, it has added a lot of institutions in different forms. It has come up as a very good IT industry, industrial hub, in addition to the earlier existing a kind of a motor hub for in India, as at times it was called the Detroit of the East, the Oxford of the East, because of its educational centers that are existing in the city. It also was a very silent city about around 15-20 years back, where it was considered as a retirement paradise, just like Bangalore, because of the climate and the other advantages that the city carried with it. But we could see a lot of growth that came to the city, and what we had planned for over a period of time, the shortfalls pertaining to a land use pattern or development plan fell much short because of the rapid urbanization which happened. And this is where the challenges for the city started rising. And when we are looking about the whole development and the infrastructure that is to go with such kind of an physical infrastructure that we requires for the city, we could see that we have to add on a lot of new things. And probably the smart cities mission and this kind of a thing will act as a catalyst for this overall transformation and growth. While undertaking few of these projects, I just to highlight as to the different silos and what problems we faced was, when we talk about one of the projects, we talk about an integrated command and control center where integration of different elements and different utilities within the city were to be undertaken. So we had there are 5 different municipal organizations running within the city of Pune. We have the Municipal Corporation of Pune, the Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, 2 cantonment boards, and the Pune Metropolitan Regional Development Authority. So 5 different entities looking after municipal administration just within that area of Pune. Beyond that, we have the police department along with the traffic department, which is a different silo directly reporting to the government of Maharashtra. We have our other departments being the municipal transportation, which is itself a different kind of an SPV. So integrating all of these different elements, getting them on a single kind of a platform, and ensuring that the silos of each of these departments get broken up so that a concrete kind of a solution for future planning of the city comes into place, which was a challenge in itself. It took us almost close to more than 1 year, because we were the first to initiate such kind of an initiative for an integrated command and control center. And while we talked about getting different nodes of the surveillance cameras onto the board, or the GIS GPS kind of a platform that was required for integrating a lot of data from the various departments. Also, the vehicle tracking system that was available with the transportation department or the solid waste department and everything. So, which could give us a kind of a big data platform, but analyzing this big data in a different way, which could help integrate and find solutions which may be helpful to each of these elements within the city. And that is how we have gradually progressed, and we could see that we could overcome it. The second set of challenges, when we talked about, when Aligarh and others mentioned, we are talking about a lot of development of physical infrastructure in particular area, that is the area development approach. And when we go in for development of a street or everything, what usually happens is within the municipal corporation or the PW department, it is the road department per se which comes in and lays down the road. Not taking into consideration a lot of utilities that have to go below the road, also a lot of utilities that have to go on the road. Here, when under the smart city, we ensured that we integrated and talked with almost 9 different departments, including the Pune Municipal Corporation, to understand and ensure that the wet utilities that were required for the planning for the next 15-20 years were put in place. The dry utilities pertaining to the electricity department or the optic fiber cables or the MNGL gas network and everything was put in place before we laid down the road. So we are in the process of development of more than 60 kilometers of road stretches, and each of these roads gets developed in such a way that we ensure that the utilities below the road, as well as the street furniture and the road furniture that comes up along with the road, comes in an integrated format where in future these departments don't work at cross lengths, and ensure that the infrastructure that has been created with that much amount of value and the budgetary allocation that is there does not go waste, and it becomes kind of an asset to the city as per the need and requirement. So getting or dissolving these silos, getting and integrating them into different kind of aspects. And the same thing works for the other projects that we plan to do, be it under traffic or making the citizens smart. So it's not just the physical infrastructure we're talking about, making the citizens smart by involving them into different kind of categories, and also ensuring that different kinds of initiatives are taken, be it for skill development, for livelihood development of the citizens, or ensuring that an environment is created under our IT industrial hub, where we talk about through our Pune Idea Factory Foundation is an entity that we have created to ensure that we create a center of excellence and an innovation hub to give a different kind of an environment and a kind of a mentorship to our upcoming young talenters and entrepreneurs in the city of Pune. So these are some of the things that we plan to do to bring in a much more integrated kind of a development and ensuring that the silos of these various departments get dissolved gradually. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jagtap. Good to hear you're converting all these silos into assets and delivering it. Look, Pune is, I think, in my view, is one of the model cities for smart cities in India. So those of you who are aspiring to do something, Pune is a fantastic place to go and see how the same environment they're doing it. Look, conscious of the time, and I really want to open it up for questions, but unfortunately we are out of time. I would encourage all of you to please get hold of our experts, of our speakers after this session, and if you have any specific thing to ask, please do ask them. We are going to play a video about Pune in the background while we do the ceremonial things here and say our gratitude and thanks to Mr. Jagtap, Ms. Aileen, and Mr. Arun Prakash, and Satya Prakash, Mr. Basant as well, Suresh as well, and I hope all the success with the smart cities. It will be good to see in a year or 2 years' time what are the achievements. And Aileen, I hope you do have an opportunity to work with more than 10, 15 cities in India on the smart city project. Well done. Thank you very much.